They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're stealing from professional athletes' homes. What do we got going on? We've got 4 Chilean men indicted for Southwest Ohio burglary spree, including Joe Burrow's home. He's a professional athlete in the NFL. Let's check out what we got going on here. Let's do this. Here we go. Here's a little bit more of an overview video. This whole come into the United States with a visa, do a bunch of criminal activity and book it out. This has been going on for years because you got a wide open southern border. So why wouldn't you come in and steal? And even if you're living in the community, why wouldn't you take the same exact principles? Hey, I know that guy. He's out on the football field over there. His home right now, back home, it's empty. It's game time.
Could an international crime ring be responsible for several recent break-ins of pro athletes' homes? That's one of the options that investigators are looking at as they try to figure out who stole thousands of dollars worth of goods from stars, including Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. ABC's Andrea Fujii has more.
Detectives are investigating whether a South American crime ring is behind recent break-ins at the homes of several high-profile athletes, including Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes.
It's frustrating. It's disappointing.
The homes of Mahomes and teammate Travis Kelce were recently burglarized, along with the homes of Bobby Portis of the Milwaukee Bucks and Mike Conley of the Minnesota Timberwolves. States including California, Colorado, and Michigan have also reported break-ins carried out by South American.
Now, Springfield, Ohio, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs.
I've thought more often about pulling the shades, which I never did before.
Just this week, police said this burglary of a home near Detroit was carried out by a South American gang targeting high-end homes.
They're very transient, so they'll hammer an area for a while. They have no ties or connection to the community, and then they move on.
And in California,
as you do,
he's warning about so-called burglary tourism, when criminals from other countries enter the U.S. on tourist visas and target upscale neighborhoods. Police say these 4 men, Colombian nationals, hid camouflaged cameras and plants outside homes to monitor activity. Used Wi-Fi signal jammers to disrupt security systems and prevent cell phone use in the homes they targeted.
People should immediately install motion detectors in their upstairs premises. They're very, very sophisticated. These are not one-offs. This is organized crime.
Police suggest residents keep a landline phone in case of emergencies. As for those high-end burglaries, sources caution the South American crime ring is just one avenue they're pursuing. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
Comforting, isn't it? Yeah. Even NFL athletes are just NBA athletes. They're just they're just getting robbed because it's a crime that makes sense. They got a lot of good stuff. They ain't home. Yeah. Wild. The 4 Chilean men living in Springfield are accused of carrying out a string of burglaries targeting multi-million-dollar homes, Ohio Attorney General David Yost said Tuesday afternoon. CNN is reporting the arrest may be tied to the break-in at the home of Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow. Yost did not offer the additional information or specifics about the alleged crimes. Burrow's home near Cincinnati was broken into in December while the Bengals played the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington, Texas. That's the beauty of this, is that unless they've got somebody else living in the home that are staying back, and oftentimes that's a more vulnerable spouse, it's girlfriend, whatever. Who was it? Somebody had did they have a YouTuber, some kind of influencer? It happened to be at the home, a cheerleader. She was a cheerleader. I can't remember. Remember that story? I'll give you no details. Remember that one? Anyway, the gal's mom and the gal are at home, and she was very young, and I think she was a cheerleader. And she's basically stating, "Send somebody over quick. They're breaking into the home. I'm at the home of whatever professional athlete that was." On Tuesday, a Clark County grand jury indicted Jordan Francisco Sanchez, 22, Alexander Esteban Haikil Chavez, 24, Bastian Alejandro Morales, 23, and Sergio Andre Cabello, 38. Each man faces charges of engaging in a pattern of corrupt activity, participating in criminal gang, and possessing criminal tools. All were arrested and remain in the Clark County Jail. Now, this is where, if any of these guys are illegals and they are, waiting on a court case, deport them immediately. Have them serve their time and deport them. That needs to be done over and over and over again. I'd be more inclined just to deport them, but, then they're going to come right back, right? Because these are criminals. They can work out. They're not like the everyday citizens coming from all over the world, Central America, South America, Mexico, and just wanting to start over and get a new life going in the United States. These guys are coming here for the specific task of endangering Americans and stealing from them. Literally stealing from them, like Patrick Swayze and his crew in Point Break. And I know I've talked about this because I love that movie. They're chasing the big waves around the world. And then every now and then when they need to reload their coffers, they do a big bank heist. Remember when bank heists used to be a big thing? I remember in the 70s, there were so many bank robberies. It was a big thing, right? Robbing banks. Until we got to that point as a society where we went, let's see, criminals know that there's a lot of money in these banks, and there's a lot of money in these banks. So what can we do? What can we do to dissuade them from robbing these banks? I know. Let's come up with a punishment that makes it so bad to rob a bank that they won't they'll really reconsider. Hey, you want to go rob a bank today? Nope, let's go to 7-Eleven instead. We'll rob that. And that's literally what happened, right? The federal, all these banks that were federally related, the time frame you got incarcerated for robbing a bank just got jacked up. And that tended to do a little pushback on people wanting to rob these banks. That's what you need to do with retail theft. But then you'd be throwing so many thousands and thousands and thousands of people in jail. And, the statistics wouldn't look good. You arrested how many shoplifters? All right. That's not good. That's not good. Because what would come up? Shoplifting. Arresting shoplifters is racist. That'd be in there. They'd take the statistics and go, you're arresting an awful lot of, this is racism. This is core racism. And you're like, nah, that's arresting criminals in the act. That's a different drill. All right. Nobody wants to talk about that, right? Because no, just be quiet. Just don't say a thing. The whole thing will go away. All were arrested and remain in Clark County Jail. CNN also reported, according to an affidavit, an old LSU shirt and Bengals hat were found in the suspect's black Chevrolet Blazer. Affidavit said that the items were believed to be stolen from the December 9th burglary in Hamilton County. It's the same day as Burrow's incident. So you've got just a bunch of criminal activity going on in Springfield, Ohio, right? Springfield. This is not Detroit. This is not downtown LA. This isn't Seattle. This is Springfield, where they were eating the dogs and they were eating the cats. Whether or not they actually were, I believe they were. I believe there was enough evidence where you could comfortably say, these guys were from Chile, right? Chile actually put a law on the books that within their Haitian communities, who is accused of eating the dogs and the cats in Springfield, by the way, not the Chileans, folks from Chile put laws on the books prohibiting eating domestic pets. And that was specifically because the Haitians were eating the dogs and the cats. So is it a stretch that they come to America, Estados Unidos, they come to Springfield, Ohio, and there's just a whole bunch of protein floating around on the lake? There's just, it's protein free. Just go up, grab one of those geese, shake it around real hard, snap its neck, and you've got dinner for the whole family. Invite the extended family over. Hey, got a 15-pounder over here. Let's eat. Yeah, right. I mean, it's not a stretch to go from Springfield eating the dogs and the pets to, some criminal activity like this with all of the other criminal activity we've got going on across the United States because so many people are in the country illegally and they're committing crimes. They're committing crimes. I mean, you open up the southern border to millions and millions and millions of people, 20 million people, I don't know, 15 million people, 12 million people, whatever it is number that you want to run with. And that's not even counting the gotaways, right? You want to open it up to that many people, you're going to have some stuff go sideways on you. Aurora, Colorado. Well, they didn't really take over all those buildings, the Tren de Aragua, and now the city is literally condemning those buildings and taking them over. And we were told that this was a figment of our imagination, that we were overreacting to Tren de Aragua taking over big apartment complexes in a major North American city. But you know what? Here's the bottom line to that story is that I think folks pretty much figured that out in the last election. Now, who was the guy that was pro opening up the border to just damn near anybody that wanted to waltz through? Oh, that was him. And who was the guy that had the lowest illegal entry into the United States in, 46 years? Oh, that was him. Okay, well, we're going to vote for that guy. Yeah, amongst a bunch of other issues, right? South American crime tourists target the rich in at least half of the United States. These are people flying in. Thefts are way, way up. And it's become a known quantity with these professional athletes, hasn't it? South American crime tourists who exploit the U.S. visa system to enter the country and commit burglaries have infiltrated at least half the states in America and taken millions of untraceable goods, the Post has learned. Organized groups of burglars and jewel thieves, particularly from Chile, Ecuador, Colombia, and Peru, have been targeting wealthy homes across the U.S. for decades, but their crimes have spread and recently soared in some cities. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're stealing from NFL professional players' homes. I mean, it's just, this is not, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Got, even more, an ABC News story. I mean, when you see these guys, they're like, are you kidding me? I'm out here busting my ass, literally getting my head taken off by these enormous human beings charging at me at 22 miles an hour. Meanwhile, some jackass at home is stealing my stuff. There is a certain sense of irony, isn't there? It's like these guys are just making multi-million dollar contracts. I mean, sometimes in the hundreds of millions, right? And you're like, okay, so they targeted you because you have all this money and you have all this crap at home. You got all these gold chains, you got a Bugatti or 2 or 3 in the garage. You got all kinds of stuff. You got all kinds of stuff they can steal and book it on and literally get their stuff moved out of the country, whatever. Who was it? Somebody had a Rolex end up, was it Slash? End up in Chile? I think some rock star had one. It was a Submariner Rolex. Who was that? Let me know in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. But it was a rock star's watch that had been stolen from a home. I remember it was a Submariner. I just can't remember who it was. And Submariner doesn't sound like something Slash would wear. But somebody's home had been broken into and the watch ended up in Chile. So this all kind of makes sense, right? It's not a stretch. It's not something, we're really being racist here because these guys typically don't do that kind of thing. It's a known quantity that this is going on. So you throw that on top of the whole Springfield, Ohio story. I loved all those memes when those memes came out, which was they're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats. The one video of what looked like to be pets being barbecued on a blue barbecue, like right here.
Yo, what is this they got on the grill?
Is that
Man, listen, man.
But that was the one video that I'm like, that That could possibly be. And you know this kind of stuff was going on. You know this kind of criminal activity is going on because at the end of the day, why wouldn't it? Right? It just made everything so exposed. Just, yeah, status unidos. Come and steal from us. It's all good. It's all good. And if you get caught, we're not going to turn you over to ICE. And that's what drives me crazy about these big blue liberal cities. They're not turning over to ICE actual criminals that are doing so much of this stuff. They want to protect the criminals. Why is that? It's a good question, right? It's a podcast for another day because I'm done on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.